Hey guys, let's talk about this week's episode of Intelligence. And, it was another good episode. I enjoyed it. Again, I like that Gabriel is continuing to still, have these thoughts about his wife. I think that that's a good thread that feels realistic and authentic, that somebody who has been tracking them for the last 7 years and then thinks he just saw her die, and now is trying to deal with that. And I like that. And we all know that he's able to walk through these visions, or he's able to put together pieces of a crime scene and he's able to walk through it, which is pretty cool. And when he's doing that, he hears this voice and he's freaking out and he thinks it's his ex-wife or his dead wife. And it starts to trigger these things in him, and he starts, questioning whether the chip is working properly or not. And we find out that there's another, because in the first episode, there was a woman that they were trying to implant another chip with, and it was a more advanced chip than what Gabriel has. And it turns out that she was the one who was sort of infiltrating his visions. And it was kind of cool because she could come into his thoughts and like manipulate what he thought he was seeing. So at one point he thinks he's seeing his wife, but when she turns around, it's actually this woman, and her name is Chen. And he's calling out for Amelia and thinking that it's his wife when it's not. So I kind of liked that. Again, he's still very much emotionally connected to his wife, even though she's passed, or at least he believes she is. And of course, we all knew at the end of last week's episode that she actually wasn't turned and that she really was deep cover. So, very interesting the way that the show it has decided to move forwards. The story of the week was interesting because they were trying to track some woman. I think her name was Kate Anderson, and apparently she had all this information on a drive that basically had all the information on how to create this chip and make another Gabriel. And the thing is that they don't want this falling into the wrong hands, where they can make all these super spy agents out there and have them be working for the wrong people. So they were trying to track them down. The CIA got involved, all this kind of stuff. So the case of the week was kind of interesting, and that's where Chen got involved. And it led for some interesting cat and mouse chases, which was fine. Ultimately though, they end up I guess doing a double a misdirect on her, and Gabriel's able to infiltrate her memories and her thoughts, and then they were able to wipe out the download that she was able to steal from Kate Anderson. And it was pretty cool, it was pretty good. But what we really get at the end of this episode is that there's always going to be people that are trying to get their hands on this information. And now that there's potentially two of them out there, it's going to be very problematic to try to contain this. And, basically Gabriel is like a $40 million plane kind of thing. Like, he's a $40 million being, and they have to protect it at all costs. And of course, that is where Riley comes into to play, and she's the one who's supposed to be protecting him. Now, the problem that I have with her is I find that all the scenes that she's in with him, it's all like, well, my job is to call you first thing in the morning and make sure that you're there, and call you at night before you go to bed. And she's always got this like little smirk on her face, like she's flirting with him, or I don't know, it just doesn't play well. And in this episode, the first scene that they're in together, she comes and sees him at the bar and he's drinking, and he's like, how did you find me? She's like, well, and she's like having this whole conversation, and I'm like, this doesn't play very well, because he is, still grieving his wife, and obviously we all know that, but it seems like you're there to protect him. You need to be business only. And it just seems like she's trying to be like cool brethren and friends with him, and it's like, no, you're his protector, so cut that out. So I don't know. I just feel like they're going a little too googly eyes for my liking right off the top, instead of it being more like business first, and let me set it up so that we know that we'll protect each other always. But you're not his partner. You're protecting him. So it's kind of and nobody wants to see that relationship kind of blossom too quickly. And at the end of the episode, they're having a beer together, and it just felt a little too, I don't know, like they're trying too hard to make it like, see, guys, they work well together on screen. See, they have chemistry. See, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I see that. I don't know if I like that either. We also found out in this episode that the CIA has been spying on this intelligence agency, and will be interesting to see what happens there and how they plan to deal with that moving forwards. But all in all, it was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it. And I can't wait to see what happens on the next episode. All right, guys, let me know what you thought if you're still enjoying it. I don't know if it's doing very well in the ratings. So we may only have a few episodes left, guys. But let me know what you're thinking. Comment down below. And I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.